Hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of News Circle Live. In this edition, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, is detaining more people than ever before. Over 36,000 individuals, a historic high. This number isn't just a statistic, it's tens of thousands of lives in legal limbo, waiting for a decision on their future. ICE's detention network spans hundreds of facilities, most hidden from public view, yet their populations have surged. This record is the result of deliberate enforcement strategies, prioritizing detention as migrants navigate lengthy immigration court processes. Contrary to popular belief, more than 60% of those detained have no criminal record at all. Most are held for civil immigration violations, not crimes, challenging the narrative that detention is about public safety. The system now casts a much wider net, detaining people who pose no threat to the community. Understanding this shift is key. Today's detention system is less about crime, more about policy. The vast majority are migrants caught in a web of changing laws and enforcement priorities. This historic peak marks a crossroads for U.S. immigration, one defined by record numbers and a growing debate over who truly belongs behind bars. The question is no longer just how many are detained, but why. And what does this say about America's approach to migration? If most ICE detainees aren't criminals, who are they? Many are asylum seekers fleeing violence or persecution, seeking protection under U.S. and international law. Instead of refuge, they're often locked up while their claims are processed. The detained come from across the globe, Central and South America, the Caribbean and beyond, driven by crises at home. These are families, workers, and students, not faceless statistics. Most are held for administrative violations like crossing between ports of entry or overstaying a visa, civil, not criminal offenses. Yet they're confined in jail-like conditions, blurring the line between civil and criminal law. The human cost is immense, parents separated from children, lives put on hold. Reducing them to illegal immigrants ignores the real stories and struggles behind each case. To understand ICE detention, we must look past stereotypes and see the people at its heart. ICE's record detention numbers are no accident. They're the result of policy shifts and enforcement choices. The end of Title 42 in 2023 brought a return to standard immigration processing, leading to more arrivals and more detentions. The Biden administration expanded ICE's capacity despite promises to reduce reliance on detention. Alternatives to detention, like community-based programs, remain underused even though they're effective and humane. Officially, ICE is supposed to focus on threats to public safety, but most detainees are non-criminals. The system now operates as a tool of mass deterrence, hoping to discourage migration by detaining large numbers. Decades of evidence show this approach doesn't stop people fleeing danger. Once detention infrastructure is built, it creates its own momentum. Beds get filled, contracts get renewed. The result, tens of thousands, including families and asylum seekers, held in jail-like conditions for seeking safety. This is a policy choice with profound human consequences. Life inside ICE detention is marked by fear, uncertainty, and a loss of autonomy. Overcrowding, poor medical care, and limited legal access are common complaints. Detainees struggle to find lawyers, face language barriers, and are often held far from help. Critics, from human rights groups to faith organizations, call the system inhumane and fiscally wasteful. Detention costs over $150 per person per day, far more than proven community-based alternatives. These alternatives ensure court compliance without incarceration. Advocates demand downsizing detention, ending for-profit contracts, and investing in humane solutions. The debate now questions not just conditions, but the very need for mass detention. Is locking up migrants the only answer? ICE detention is now a political flashpoint, dividing Americans over security, compassion, and national identity. Some argue high detention is necessary for border control. Others see it as a moral failure that harms families and communities. For those detained, politics is secondary to the trauma of separation and uncertainty. A parent in detention means a family in crisis, children left behind, spouses struggling alone. The emotional toll is immense, the human cost often invisible in policy debates. The U.S. faces a choice: respond to migration with walls and jails, or with compassion and due process. The stakes are high, not just for those behind bars, but for the nation's values. As detention numbers climb, the question remains, what kind of country do we want to be? Please subscribe, like, and share for more. Thank you.